Hey everyone, this is Dan with the Spiritual Underground Podcast. Going to take a minute to talk about Anchor. I've been with Anchor for a little over 2 years now, and podcasting couldn't be easier. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First off, it is free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. Let your voice be heard.
Let it go. And the hills have always been home. And now that I found you, them shadows seem cold. And tomorrow will be the long hard road of Ohio. And I'll hit every mile that takes me back to Kentucky and away from your smile. And if you want me to go, I will. But if you need me to stay, baby, that'd be a thrill. 'Cause tomorrow will be a long, hard road out of Ohio. And I'll hit every mile that takes me back to Kentucky and away from your smile.
Great job, man. How about that? Hello, everyone. This is Dan with the Spiritual Underground Podcast. What you were listening to there was Travis playing guitar and singing at the fire on the Sunday morning of the retreat. This podcast is going to be based on that event. I taped a number of guys that Sunday morning and spoke to them, got their input, and then after the event I contacted some guys and we did a little Zoom interview, and you'll hear those audio clips today, and just really driving home what these kind of events can do and be in a person's life. One of the many miracles of recovery that I have received, and potentially the greatest, but I hesitate to rank those, is that the ability to get in touch with the gifts that God has given me, the gifts that higher power has placed on me, and then to give me the ability to cultivate those gifts. And my woodworking is obviously one, but more so, and the more important one, is my ability and the unique ways in which I get to participate in my recovery and the recovery of others. These retreat events are certainly in that, fall in that domain, and definitely touches me that guys will show up and stand side by side with me while we do deep men's work for 3 days out at my cabin, out in the middle of the Hoosier National Forestry. Just touches me just sitting here thinking about it. So what I have is these guys' testimonies, and I hesitate to say a lot more. I'll jump in now and again. There's another clip of another song that Travis was playing Sunday morning that I'll probably put in here. It's just magic. It's we had 18 guys there. 10 of them were veterans, let's say, and 8 of them were inside their first year of recovery and had not been to a retreat such as this, and specifically haven't been to this one. Renamed it this year. Last year during COVID, it became one of the gifts that was laid at my feet was that this event is more powerful with a limited number of people. It loses the intimacy when it gets beyond, let's say, 15 or 20 people. We had 18 this year, the perfect number, about a 50-50 split of veterans versus rookies. I mean, no disrespect by those terms, and that seemed to be perfect when you allow the space for higher power to come in and run something like this rather than trying to overmanage it. I just love to watch what happens when you can get your ego out of the way and allow higher power to take over. It's one of the biggest things about running a retreat like this is you can't jam pack it in so tight that you're not allowing higher power to do what it does. You have to fertilize the soil and allow an event like this to take place. We had first time ever I have a guy from come from way out of town to join. Guy I'm working with named Ryan. He flew in from Salt Lake City. There will be somebody talks a little about what happened with him over this weekend in one of these sound bites. I also look around and it's a lot of my sponsees and their sponsees, which would be called grand sponsees. And I always get a little uncomfortable talking about that because I feel like maybe that I'm bragging about that. And although I am super proud of it, I know once again this is not me. This is what 12-step recovery can do in a person's life, particularly when it's passed on in the manner that was passed on to me, which is the 12-step spiritual recovery. What's in that book, the TSSR methodology, is just a super powerful, relatively painless methodology of working this program. And to circle back for a minute about renaming it, up until now, this would be the 8th retreat that I've hosted down there. And up until now, I've called it SPURT, which was an acronym for Spiritual Underground Retreat. It also had the notion of a growth spurt, so I really like that. And but this retreat is not open to all of my home group, all the Spiritual Underground currently. Like I said, I needed to do that to maintain the numbers. We have 2 outhouses down there, which are separated by 3/8 of a mile, and I just don't have the facilities to take on really big crowds. And it outgrew itself a couple years ago. It was very nice. It was super cool. It touched me big time. We had 36 men down there. But it lost its intimacy in that regard. So I was talking to some people and my sponsor specifically, and started looking for a new name for it. And Shane and I were down there turkey hunting, and he said, "I got it." And I said, "What?" He said, "DURT." Once again, it feels a little arrogant saying it out loud, but it's Dan's Underground Retreat. And we ran with it. So this was DURT 1. My ego didn't want to renumber it. I want to be able to say there's 8. But we will start again. We will begin again and keep on doing this. So sit back and listen to the testimony of the men that were there. They will tell you what it was like.
The next thing you know, I'm reminiscing, dreaming no dreams. Wishing no wishes, like you would be back again.
As soon as I hit the record button, an owl hooted. So I didn't talk for a minute. Maybe we'll pipe into this. Sitting down with Mark for a minute on this wonderful Sunday morning. So, Give me a little recap. This is the third time you've been here, right?
Yes, it is.
Give me a little recap of how your weekend has been.
It's been pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Thank you for sitting down, Dan, and hello, world. No, done a lot of curating of some good character building exercises, and I think I've done some growing. It's difficult for me to take a look at what makes me tick. I think I've always been averse to doing that, and it's part and parcel with the hard work that we do in this program, you know. And I realize this is not an AA sanctioned event, but nonetheless, it's some good work.
Well, without recovery, I wouldn't be doing any other work probably. So it's the foundation of and what everything else sprouts out of today. I purposely kind of limited this year to direct like recovery topics this year because that just seems to come natural today. That will get touched on and talked about, and tried to work around and look at some things that maybe wouldn't necessarily be found in a 12-step recovery kind of setting, a formal one. So to stretch us a little bit, and as we say, this goes so much further than just not drinking and doping. A lot further than that. Anything in particular this weekend stand out to you? Impact you?
The core values I really enjoyed. I guess can I run through it for the audience
Sure,
there? Yeah, so we were given a sheet of, 70, 80 words, core values, things like honesty, integrity, blah, 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 on and on. I mean, there were a whole ton of
compassion, connection, integrity.
And we had to pick 20 of them, which was difficult, because again, you got to kind of look a little inside and say, is that me, and not is that something I want or something I aspire to have? Is this like foundational to Mark?
Right.
And so I thought I'd done the whole deal. I got my 20 there, and I'm like, woohoo! And then you're like, okay, throw out 10. I'm, son of a biscuit, are you serious now? And then throw out another 5 after that. I was like, but it did kind of root out some things. I had identified with some words as I was going through these things, and I had to. The way I did it in my head was kind of Venn diagram those things. So my irreverence needed to be sort of encapsulated inside of playfulness, so I could throw out irreverence because that had a little bit of just like, fuck it, which, while certainly applies to me, I think the whole like playfulness attitude has all that and a little more. So again, it was just diving a little bit deeper, one more time to the well, and I found that refreshing.
Yeah. I wasn't. I think. Well, I don't know. It's interesting because it's kind of like 4-step stuff, where you think I know everything. I know what I know, and I have these thoughts in my head, but until I actually like do some exercise with it, it doesn't really land. I can stand around and tell you about things I feel strongly about, which might be core values. But when you sit down there and you actually weed it out and sit down with it and pair it out to see what you keep, there's a lot of value to. It's like putting it in black and white. A little bit of a commitment to it.
And as much as I enjoyed the after effects of digging down and seeing what makes Mark tick, it was really illuminating to hear everybody else's words.
Yeah.
And how they identified with those. And I was like, wow, I did not know that about Dan. I did not know that about,
Yep.
like, wow, okay. So growing closer to the men in this circle. And I think that didn't take great steps. It was a super long stride.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And that does happen through this weekend. And, part A of that exercise is to look at your own core values, but part B was to get to know each other better through knowing what other people value. Cool, man. Well, so I'm going to guess you've had a good time this weekend. Mark is always a fan of the outdoors. If y'all want to listen to his story, he spent quite a bit of time out bounding around and sleeping in tents and sleeping bags, and also right at home here.
Yes. Yeah. There's something about the outdoors. I don't know. It's very very primal. I guess it ties back into our deep ancestry, or at least I imagine it that way in my head.
Right. Yep. At some level, and it just pinged on me that where's that in a core value, because this is something I value deeply, of having time away. No cell phones, no computers, just detaching from what I do every day and coming out here. And it's really the thing that I kind of had to force myself to put down my devices and stuff, and this does it for me.
Yes.
So, yeah. Cool, Mark. Well, I'm sure glad you came. Super, super glad you came.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, and it's go home day's always a little funny.
Yeah.
I always have had some kind of energy around what going home. I know in a little while we'll all tear all this down and put it away, and then for the most part splinter off into our separate ways of pods who came together and leave together, and eventually back there by myself at home again. A lot of good memories though, and I love doing this.
Well, thank you for bringing me along. Thank you for bringing people of the world along.
Yeah. Love you, Mark.
Love you too.
Next thing you know, I'm reminiscing, dreaming no dreams, wishing no wishes, like you would be back again. Hey, Vlad. So, Sunday morning.
Good
a little
morning.
Bit longer going. I stepped on your good morning. Do it again.
Good morning, Dan.
Cool, man. Have you enjoyed your weekend?
Hell yeah. I really have.
Speak to it just a little.
Well, this is the third one. First DURT. Really excited to be here. Means a lot. I made an analogy earlier, I think, when I was younger, going to a church camp. When I was going to a church camp, and I got really excited every week. You get 1 week to go and fellowship with people, like-minded people your age, right? And it was in Indiana, at a tabernacle up there by Chase's house, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you know that. And we used to stay at Mount St. Francis too, so that was special.
Yeah.
But I got this similar feeling this time around, just thinking about it on like Wednesday, going into work and getting excited for it. And yeah, man, it's just.
I certainly get excited on the front end of it as it's coming. There's a real that is a big percentage of it to me, is the anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
It tends to happen even when I go on vacations or other trips too. The planning, the getting stuff together, the packing. Prior to it, it's half the fun.
Absolutely. And then you get here and you have all your brothers and then you guys here, and you just get to fellowship, get to know each other, and have really, really good in-depth meetings too.
Yeah. I'm really glad that we did it where we had a start time and everybody's here, and we have a leave time and everybody's leaving, rather than the trickle thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing I'm going to retain here, is come for all of it,
be on time, stay to the end.
Yeah.
Anything in particular this weekend stand out? Anything? Of course, without getting into too much detail, obviously.
What I get, yeah. No, I don't think anything particular stood out.
Cool.
Specifically.
It's been an awesome weekend weather-wise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Couldn't ask for much more in that department. Warm enough to swim, cool enough to sleep.
Not too humid, plenty of sunlight, no rain whatsoever, yeah.
Bugs aren't bad.
No.
So it was just about perfect. Well, anything else you want to close on as far as what happened this weekend, what this does for you? Things of that nature?
It really comes down to like participating in your recovery and the lengths you're willing to go. Can you block out, like we were talking about, 72 hours of your life to yourself and to your fellows to do the work and really fellowship? And it doesn't seem like work when you come out here. We do a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun too. So
yeah, man, participate in your recovery and honor the time that you set aside to do it.
Absolutely.
It's a sacred thing. Cool, lad. Love you, brother.
Love you, man.
I'm reminiscing, dreaming no dreams, wishing no wishes like you would be back again.
Hey, everyone. As the fire is, people are circling around the fire. Maybe you can hear that jet boil of Travis's making beautiful black coffee first thing in the morning. Doing a little test drive of his equipment before the elk hunting trip this year. Sitting here with David. David, this is the first time David has been to one of these events. Super happy that he showed up for himself. How you doing this morning, David?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. A little groggy because I stayed up late next to the campfire. Just couldn't pull myself away, but it was feeling good.
Yeah. Last night, wasn't going to get that again for a minute.
Right.
Take all of it I could get.
Right.
No doubt. So what'd you think about the weekend?
Wow. Well, looking back on it now, fantastic. Nothing like it. I feel like I saw a lot of growth in people, and people say that they see a lot of growth in me over just this weekend. So, just amazing.
I sure do see a change in you in a weekend. I think there's a certain level of it's just comfort level with people. You know, you just you're comfortable with them, so boom, we all want to open up. I think it's just that frankly, if you're like me, I learned it wasn't safe to do that in most places, and I got that trust has to be earned before I can do it. And
I got to say too, this setting is, you just can't help but relax, getting away from the city or the job or whatever. This is just it's like another world. And when I acclimated to being out here and just relaxed, oh my God, you get a new perspective just because of that.
Yeah, it's an easy place to be for sure. Anything in particular over the weekend stand out, impact you?
Catching 8 bluegill
There
first
you go.
day we got here at the pond. Oh my God, when does that ever happen? That was fantastic.
Yeah, that's
And
fun.
then swimming in that same pond felt great. And just being able to bond with how many people up here?
We have 18.
18, man. Being able to feel right now that I know I'm bonded with all these guys.
Yeah, man. Yep, that's a core principle of the meeting is to create this connection, that bond with people. We say over and over, we can't do this alone. And I need to be connected at this kind of level to other men in my life. I just need that.
And coming in here, I didn't know that could happen. I had no idea. But just over the course of the weekend, it just happens. It's just like, I don't know how it does it.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know how it happens, but it happens. Yeah, man. Well, super glad you came. Looking forward to more and continuing to get to know you better, because I didn't know you that well before this weekend.
Well, thank you.
Huge,
Thank you, Dan. This has been great. I mean, you're a busy bee around here just hosting this, and it was great.
Yeah. Cool, man. Love you.
Love you too, man.
Next thing you know, I'm reminiscing, dreaming no dreams, wishing no wishes like you would be back again.
Hey, I'm sitting here with Toby. It's first thing Sunday morning. He was the first one up, and couldn't get a little bit from him on. Well, I'll just ask you, man. Have you been having a good time?
Yeah, kind of an understatement. Don't want to go home today. Wouldn't mind spending a couple weeks out here.
It's a fantastic place, and then when all this juice gets thrown down, it even makes it better.
Yeah, I mean, I got here Friday with some nerves, being my first time, and usually last one to sleep, first one up each day. Just trying to get the most out of it that I can.
Exceed your expectations? Anything like you thought it would be?
No, I thought it was going to be a little more calmer, not as exciting, more downtime, but you keep us going, so.
Yeah, well, we got limited time here, and I do want to try to pack in as much air quotes work as we can while we're here, but yet still make sure we have plenty of time for screwing around and having fun and just general fellowship. Maybe without getting too deep, is there anything in particular that's impacted you that you're taking home with you?
Yeah, just the sense of belonging, being together out here in the woods. I've never had that before like that. And staying sober while I'm doing it. It's kind of a first for me.
Yep. Learning to do this stuff, because it sure didn't make sense to me how I was going to be able to come and continue my outdoor lifestyle and my love for things like this without putting some chemicals in me. I couldn't figure that out. Fact of the matter is, it's actually much more fun to be doing this alert and aware and in a true connected way with guys, instead of the that false bravado, that false connection that happens when you're all loaded up, the stereotypical "I love you, man." That is not the way it goes here.
No, and being the blunt of a lot of the jokes, it's made me feel a lot more comfortable also.
Brunt to the jokes. Well, that's kind of been talking a bit about that SEAL team stuff and some of this military connection, and that's exactly how they know they like one another, or how somebody likes you is if they pick on you. So I guess we kind of fall into that here a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to being the guy that plays the jokes on another guy one day, and I got a little journal. I've been writing everything down, and some of those occasions have already been written down, so.
I like that you journal through stuff like this. That's valuable. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Mark.
We're recording a little bit. I'm going to try to grab some audio. I don't know if you people can hear the birds and singing. I think you can. The peacefulness of the morning. It's been 18 men here since Friday evening. grab some breakfast this morning and maybe do some little more yoga and have one final closing meeting, and everybody will tear off back to the real life. So, but it's not over yet. Not over yet.
No, I plan on carrying a lot of these feelings that I have and thought processes out in the real world, and hopefully be back here soon.
You will be back here soon, as a matter of fact. Probably next weekend.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Toby's just completed his 4th step, and we will be coming back here to do his 5th step next Friday night is the plan. So the juice from what is now called DURT, no longer called Spurt. Guess I could get into that a little bit. I've had to limit how many people I could have here, and it wasn't a had to, it was a get to. I found a number of someplace around less than 20 or less is the right number. It's comfortable here. The food's manageable, and the intimacy is retained when the number's around there. So did some soul searching and some praying on it, and by recommendation of let's say a friend recommended it. Maybe I didn't call it the Spiritual Underground podcast or Spiritual Underground Retreat anymore. I just am calling it mine, and it's now called DURT, D-U-R-T, Dan's Underground Retreat. So it gets tough for some people to stop saying that now. After this would be the 8th retreat down here that I've held, and this weekend is the 5th. Anniversary of the first one too. So, any closing thoughts, Tobe?
Just happy to be here. Feel very blessed to be here, and I can't wait to take this stuff out in the real world, and can't wait for DURT number 2.
Yep, it will be here before you know it. Thanks, Toby. Love you, brother.
Thanks, Dan. Love you too.
Next thing you know, I'm reminiscing, dreaming no dreams, wishing no wishes like you would be back again. I wake up.
All right, guys, I got LJ here on the line, and if I'm not mistaken, this is LJ's 2nd year in a row of coming to the retreat, and I know he's placed a lot of gratitude my direction on what it's meant to him to be there, and that's one of the main reasons that I do this stuff is to pass it to other people, so that this is not a zero-sum game here. There's enough for everyone. And if I have one drum to beat, that'd be it. Come and get you some, because like the old thing about the candle, when one candle lights another candle, it doesn't lose its light. That's what this program does. As a matter of fact, as you light candles, it seems that maybe your candle gets brighter rather than dimmer. So LJ, anything particular impact you, or any just general comments, anything you want to say about how this particular year's retreat went?
Man, so I would like to use the word, I say, compared to last year, it was epic. Last year was epic. This year was, last year, and I told Ross this on the way down there, and beforehand I told Jennifer, I told everybody I talked to, really, last year, the first year was oh, they're inviting me to this retreat thing. Cool. I'm part of a group, They
let me in.
Yeah. And then this year it's fuck, they invited me back, dude. Hell yeah, they want me there. You know what I mean? I'm with them this time, Last year I was kind of closed off a little bit, man. I wasn't completely out of my shell, I guess. New group of guys, new things that I've never done before. I've never hung out with a group of guys and just chopped it up, just hung out. You know what I mean? It's never been a thing of mine. So last year was cool, man. But this year I was able to come out of my shell a lot more, man. I was able to come out of my shell and share and take in more this year. Last year, I got a tremendous amount out of it last year. This year, I got a lot out of it as well. But this year was more about the new guys, man.
Yeah.
Like I really, really enjoyed seeing those new guys open up and their lights come on. And, it was like, I'm getting chills right now talking about it, man. It was just cool, man, to see that.
This connection muscle, if you allow me that, this muscle we use to connect with others, it has to be exercised. It has to be practiced. It doesn't come, for most of us, it doesn't come easy to be able to do that. And, but there's only one way. You can't practice this at home by yourself.
No.
It doesn't work. You have to step up and say, yes, I'll come, and then when you get there, you have to flex your muscles and connect. And it's scary to some extent, there's some fear behind that. But when we create that safe space like that, in order for people to be honest and to get vulnerable, then it helps that connection that connection muscle grow.
For sure.
Anything in particular hit you this year?
The eye gazing, man. I'm really, really, really happy that you did that again. That was, at first it was like, damn, this is weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
It is for a second, man. But when you really, it gives you the opportunity to really look into somebody's soul. You know what I mean? Like to really see what they're going through, I guess, and where they're at, and to change it up the way you did this year, to kind of circle around to different guys, was really cool, man. I really, really liked that.
Yeah, that's a muscle too, man, because, for so long I couldn't look into somebody's eyes when I was talking to them.
Right.
To actually, and really that's where the connection is made between two human beings. If you're talking to me looking around, I'm not really thinking or while I'm talking to you, you're off looking around. I really don't feel like I'm being heard.
Right.
So it's also was a little exercise in the personal connection of the men there, and then also to use that muscle to take it out into your life when you're talking to your boss, or when you're talking to your gal, or when you're talking to your kids.
For sure.
Yeah,
For
look
sure.
at them.
Right. Yeah. Let them know you're engaged.
Yeah.
I'm here with you. You're not by yourself. We're not alone.
Darren gave me that in meetings when I was handed me that little tool when I was early on, and I was having trouble focusing on people's shares in meetings. Ultimately it was rooted in a selfish, self-centered kind of thing. But he suggested that I laser beam focus and look at whoever is sharing, and don't take my eyes off of that person. Stare a hole in them, and that started allowing me to hear that person, regardless if I agreed or disagreed with what they were saying. Or sometimes, it was a little, I'm getting the cringes. I don't want, I don't want to hear what they're saying. Got to move through that uncomfortableness and just stay connected with whoever was sharing. And I still try to do that today. Even Zoom, I try to keep my eyes on the person who is sharing. One thing is that keeps me from looking around the room, seeing what everybody else's reactions are, and getting distracted by that. And it keeps me focused on whoever's sharing. If you
For sure. Yeah, I agree. I like that.
Anything else you want to talk about?
It's just the gratitude, like you said, man. There's not enough I can give you for that. So,
Thank you.
Just what you do every day is truly an inspiration, man. To be following you, to have you as a sponsee brother, to have you in my group, to be part of is amazing for me.
Well, thank you, man. I feel the same.
And thank you again for the DURT emblem that we drew, names at the end. It was really cool at the end, and I had my eye on that. I saw that DURT just like last year. I saw the juice ones on there. I was like, shit, those are cool as hell, man. I want one, but I don't want to ask you to make me one because you already do so much, and to see those DURT ones this year, I was like, man, those are cool as hell. And then, the last day you had the ohm box with names in it. And there was 5 or 6 or 7 things to draw for, and I'm picking these names, and I was picking the names. So I'm picking the names, and it's like, okay, this, and I see these things going. I'm like, damn, I like that box. And boom, somebody takes it. And it's like, damn, I like that. Boom, somebody takes it. And I was the last name to be drawn, and it was mine. Like, hell yeah, dude. The dirt thing was the only thing left. I was like, man, that's what I want, man.
Yeah.
So really,
Yep.
really cool, man.
Well, you are more than welcome, and thank you. It does feel good to be recognized for the fact, and I keep on thanking God and higher power for giving me all these unique ways to participate in my recovery, and making those little keepsakes for things is one of the gifts that God's given me to use. I almost feel like I have to, in a way, and God gives you the gifts and you're not going to use them. It'd be also classified as a sin, so to speak.
Yeah.
I'm not a big sin guy, but not using that. And so thank you. I hope you enjoy it and have it sitting around. And what the conversation starter, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Dirt.
Well,
Shane,
right now it's on my shelf with the crystals.
on the crystal shelf.
When we get the new house, it's gonna be in the open somewhere. So
Yeah, cool,
sure.
man. Well, I certainly appreciate you taking some time out of your night and adding to the podcast here. And we will continue to do what we've been doing because it's working.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me, Dan.
Cool, LJ. Love you, brother.
Love you too, buddy. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
I'm reminiscing, dreaming no dreams, wishing no wishes like you would be back again.
All right, I'm with Josh now. Josh and Travis are working together, and really didn't know Josh too much before the retreat, and that's one of the blessings of the retreat is that we get to, one of the many blessings is that we get to know each other better. Even in face-to-face meetings, if you bump into each other for an hour a few times a week, you only get to know each other so much, but that few days together actually allows you to create and begin a real relationship with people. So that's a huge blessing and something Josh and I began this particular weekend. How's it going, Josh?
It's going really well, man. I'm doing awesome.
Yeah. So you give me your overall thoughts on the retreat or any high points, anything that impacted you in particular. What'd you think?
Well, man, it was an honor to be there. At first I was a little nervous. Well, let's just back that up for a second. At first I was jealous. I kept hearing about the retreat, hearing about it, and hearing about all the men going on it and how, amazing and life-changing it was. And then one day I got the phone call from Travis. Hey, man, we got a spot. Can you go? Let me know as soon as possible. So, of course, hell yeah, I want to go. I want to go on that, man. And so I worked some things out. God allowed me to be there. And so I was pumped, and then I get there. I've been in the spiritual underground meetings, a little nervous, getting there because I've spoke to people, seen people, but this is in person. It's like, what are we going to do here? Like, I hear what stays at DURT, or what happens at DURT stays at DURT. I'm like, oh gosh, what are we in for? But, the highest point for me was that spiritual awakening towards the end that I had. It just threw chills down my spine, throughout my whole body, because I had gone to a spiritual advisor before, and this is probably like 4 years ago, and I had spoke to her, and she had told me, so someone's going to come into your life and take you under their wing. And my whole life, ever since that, I was just like, who is it? So I was, looking and looking and looking. And then, that last day, all of a sudden it just hit me. It was like, it's God. Like, that is who's taking me under his wing. Like, yeah. That's what she meant. And it was just such a sacred place, that energy that was there. It's mind blowing. So
yeah, it really is. It's and it just keeps on building. Toby or somebody posted something the other day about that residual energy that gets left at a place when you do things like what we did there. And I feel it getting, Travis and I were talking a little bit ago about how I don't know how it could get any better than last year. And I think that residual energy is one of the things that sits around and seems to be able to pump the power into it year after year, where it continues to get better, and it's not a better thing. It's just, how do you sustain that kind of power in an event, over and over again? And luckily we don't have to do that. that power that keeps us sober and does all the rest of the stuff in our lives. If we'll let that power have the steering wheel, then we can just kind of get out of the way and jump on the bus for the ride.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I could feel that energy just getting there. And then once we got, the biggest energy that I felt was when we were all huddled and saying, our Father. I mean, it was just amazing to feel that energy, to all just be circled around the fire and all be saying it in unison. I think it's just powerful.
Yeah, that closing prayer after doing all that work all weekend, no doubt, man, because we are bonded, and really makes that totally consummates that feeling of one, that we're all in this together.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, it did start off, I was like, we had to stare in each other's eyes. That was a little weird, a little awkward. And we got through the first one, and you're like, all right, let's move to the next one. It's like, all right. Then you and I had to lock eyes, and then that was cool, man. That was real cool. And then about the same time I call my sponsor every day, I ended up with him on the last person. So I thought that was a nice little God shot.
Yeah, really, really cool.
Yeah, so
cool. Well, I am super glad you came, man, and I know it has the feedback I get is the impact it has on people's lives every time, and I just feel real blessed to get to be taking part in doing that. And nothing there's no more powerful driving force in me that supersedes this want and need, desire to help other people get sober and get their lives changed around, just like what happened to me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm glad to be a part of it and a part of the group, and it's life changing, and I hope to be there again and with a sponsee of my own. That's the goal for me. I'm ready to get through this.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right,
well, I appreciate your time, and thanks for chiming in. Thanks for coming to the retreat, and thanks for participating in your recovery here on this podcast.
All right. I get to do that. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
I'm reminiscing, dreaming no dreams, wishing no wishes like you would be back again.
All right. Hey, we're here with Charlie. Love that he's been coming to the retreat the last few years, and as we're getting down the path, I begin to forget how long and how many and all that people have been, and it doesn't really matter because it ain't a counting game. But to some level, and it does. I've been fortunate enough that when I look around the retreat, it was primarily my sponsees and their sponsees, and that's pretty heartwarming. And there's a little bit of intention there as far as privatizing this retreat, sort of, and making it keeping it in the size limits that I like it to be in. But it's also just a flat blessing that can be the case. And Charlie brought one of his new guys with him that weekend who got a bunch out of it, and just a really cool thing. What impacted you, Charlie? Give me some thoughts on what you thought about the weekend.
Oh man. I feel so frazzled right now. I wish I could go back. I feel like I need the recharge. It was just an awesome weekend. And this was, I'll just talk. This was number 3. So this was the 3rd retreat that I've been to. And I was in a little different place this year. I felt, the first one I went on, I guess I was kind of in awe. You kind of soak it in, and you're like, wow, what's this about? And then last year was just a little bit weird with COVID, and I felt like there was kind of like maybe a little bit of weird energy with people. Like some people were like, I don't know if we're supposed to be doing this or what, I don't know. 2020 was just weird. But this year, coming there, it's like, I felt like there was really good energy, and the size of the group was absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And we had such a mix of, guys that have been around for a little bit and guys it was their first time there. And I remember Robert, my sponsee, asking me like, what's this about? I didn't really ask him if he wanted to go. I just told him he was going.
Yeah.
I said, you're booked on, May, I think it was like the 21st, 22nd, 23rd or something like that.
Yeah, you've got an appointment.
Yes, you got somewhere to be. And he's like, cool. He said, so what do y'all do? We'll fish, and maybe swim a little bit and cook out. And there's some other activities we do too. Sounds good, man. I'll be there. So anyway, but man, just to see the impact that it had on somebody else was fantastic. Like, the word that keeps coming to my mind when we talk about this retreat is that it's a genuine experience, in that everybody is so honest. It's kind of like, we never know what direction it's going to go. I know you prep and we kind of like have these guides, and maybe we push it a certain way, but like it takes on its own shape and kind of creates its own energy, man. And it's always a positive thing, but there's so much raw emotion that comes from it. And sometimes, it's from a new guy that gets a fire lit under him, or finally, feels like he can get honest about something. And sometimes it's a guy that's, been around for a while, and, he realizes that the work's not over and there's something else that's really been on him, or, something's been bothering him, or he needs to share something, or he needs to be honest about something. So it can go so many directions. But this past weekend, it culminated with Ryan and him sharing the letter that his son had wrote him before he passed away with his therapist, and he was under the impression, that basically his son hated him, and they kind of had it seemed like the way it was presented was that they had an estranged relationship, and Ryan was just carrying this weight about his son, and not being a better father because of his struggles with addiction and alcoholism. So to, hear that letter that his son had written him, find out that he had forgiven him, his son still loved him. There's no words that can like describe it. I said before that if I would have driven down on Friday and sat for 3 days straight, just to be a part of that moment.
Yeah.
Like just that alone, somebody getting free, and it wasn't a fifth step, but it was one of these moments, where we get a release, and there was definitely a charge, like,
no doubt, man.
Yeah.
That he's talking about that raw emotion, and that's one of them. That's something that I intentionally try to create, that safe and tight container where guys can be honest, and feel safe to do something like Ryan did. That don't happen either without the men's energy in the group either, because he waited till the last minute to get that letter out, and he didn't know I don't think he knew if he was going to do that this weekend or not, and I sure didn't. And when I was talking to Shane earlier, what happens is we fertilize the soil so higher power can come in and do the work, in those places. That stuff that we couldn't create, like even from the beginning. And Shane talked about his buffalo story that he got texted about the buffalo meditation. He got a text on the way in. He got a text while he was at the cabin, which you don't do. And switched around his whole meditation plans for his opening meditation on Friday night or Saturday morning. I mean, that definitely. Last year after the retreat, I said that I'd never been a part of anything any more powerful than what the retreat was last year. And I hate to even rank it, but it was as powerful once again, and that's unreal. It is really. And again, I give credit to everybody there for being able to. That definitely is a us thing. That's a we deal. That's the first word and the first step. We created energy that allows somebody to have some healing, like what happened there at the very end of the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big commitment from guys, and like it's a commitment to ourselves, and it's a commitment to each other. To give up 3 days basically of no cell phone, no contact with the outside world. No sneaking away for business calls. It shows the commitment of everybody to the group. And we don't know what's going to happen when we go there, but something big happens every time.
Yeah.
And it's we were just talking about that emotional charge, and there is there's that hangover aspect of it after the weekend. Like the next Monday and Tuesday, I'm usually dragging a little bit at work.
Yeah, I was shot Monday.
Yeah, and it's not. Yes, physically I'm tired, but just
there's an emotional discharge that happens. I'm tired too, but there's something else.
I can't. I physically am dragging, that Monday and Tuesday, but emotionally, I'm just not available. I'm kind of, I don't want to say dead on the inside, but I am I do not have the capacity to be emotionally advanced at that moment just because of the hangover.
Yeah, it's like a shell shock.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, I am super blessed to have you alongside and doing this stuff and doing it with us. I always say every chance I get that God has sent me the most fantastic sponsees in the fucking world. And you are certainly one of them. I'm a blessed man to have people like you and the guys God has sent me. So we'll keep on doing it and keep on giving it to other people. And it tickles me to death to see Robert doing what he's doing now. He was one of the ones for sure that was supercharged after that. And we'll have him on the podcast here in just a minute, and he'll tell his story and everybody can hear about it. I got to hear him talk the other night, so I got tipped off a little bit, but we'll be a little more free form and no time limits at the on the podcast, so that'll be fun.
It'd be great. It's 1 year, July 21st.
Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah, that just to backtrack just a little bit, that was this recent fire that's been lit under him, was he wouldn't mind me saying this, but he kind of stalled out a little bit. He had made some amends and was really working a little bit too much. And then, we had this retreat and he's like, all right, I'm ready to get on here to 10, 11, and 12, I'm ready to start doing this. I need to start sponsoring guys. I need to do more. And this retreat just lit a fire under him again, to kind of finish the work. And now he's blazing it. It's awesome.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah, it was not very long after the retreat. He sent me a note saying he had been through step 12. So just total juice.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Thank you for participating here in the podcast and sharing a little of your experience, strength, and hope with us. And I love you, and I will see you soon, man.
Love you, brother. Have a good night.
Good night.
See you, Dan.
I'm reminiscing, dreaming no dreams, wishing no wishes like you would be back again. So we got Marshall here, and just running around getting some people's feelings and what impacted them and what their whole basic thoughts were about the retreat. I know the people talk about how moving it is and how much it does for their recovery. And I just like to fill in the blanks with what the individuals, each individual's feelings were about the weekend. So how was it all in all there, Marshall?
All in all, it was like a recharge, for me, because that was the third one for me. And, it's a little different each time. Of course, the first time was overwhelming. Every sense that I had was just overwhelmed. I feel like I'm spoiled because that's the only retreat that I've been on is this one. So, I don't think I could ever go to any other one. and have any sort of a not it be a letdown in every way almost, unless it's like it's going to have to be like a mountain climbing expedition where you parachute off the top or something like that,
Yeah, well, so, maybe we'll do that too. Yeah, and I think about that, it's just hard to do something like this and then go and do another one and not have some kind of judgment where our tendency to compare things, instead of letting things be what they are. Going, well, this is better or worse. It's kind of like that, I'm having a bad day, I'm having a good day. We always seem to have to label things. And I know if I've been to one other retreat, and frankly, it was quite boring. It was one other recovery related retreat that was boring. The main kind was a retreat, and it was anything but boring. But any particular stuff impact you particularly this weekend, or?
Before you say, I gotta get that off my mind. The comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, there you go.
Just ringing in my head. I think that was Theodore Roosevelt, right? I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you wrapped it up in just a few words of what I said in about 50.
So I mean, what I guess seeing the lights on in other people's eyes, where they're at in their recovery. Oops.
We're just doing audio anyway. It doesn't matter.
Oh, well, that was my wife.
Oh, phone call coming in.
Yeah, I had to decline that. So at this point, for me in the retreat, it was like seeing the lights come on in other people and seeing their enthusiasm and seeing them getting honest and opening up and seeing to what happened to them, what happened to me a couple years ago,
right.
And that's just invigorating,
Yeah. Same reason we sponsor people, it's that keeping it green thing when it takes you back to where you were at that point. And for some reason, that's a valuable thing, is when you get swept back to those pivotal moments in your recovery, and keeps that stuff fresh in your mind, because there's this little thing where we tend to like forget how bad, where we were at one point, and we keep on hanging around these guys that are new in recovery. It keeps that green in our mind.
Yes, and just the little course corrections too that happen whenever you're out there and you're doing that. You're that close to the other 20 other guys, somewhere around there that are all on the same path as you, and they help you keep each other in between the ditches.
Yeah.
Those little course corrections, like you say. So that happens, and it happens real easily out there. It just happens kind of naturally, and that's a great thing. So that definitely happened for me. So, and you saw it happen, I think, several. You see, we all see it happening in each other. So it's easier for you to see in somebody else than you see it in yourself.
Yep, absolutely. And it's definitely my favorite thing about those events is watching these guys who are really apprehensive about being there in the first place, and watch this stress or this apprehension kind of lift off of them, and they're able to like share. So they look like little kids at their birthday party, at their surprise birthday party. There's just this like, wow. I love to watch that, and I love seeing that, and also knowing that what that impact will have if they can keep a hold of that. That this is available to them, and it's not just this weekend either. This kind of camaraderie and this brotherhood, this fellowship is available to you real time every day. But the weekend really is what sets that sets it in stone, so to speak.
Yeah. I was just talking to a guy yesterday, and we were talking about, he's new, and he was talking about the pink cloud. I was like, hey, man, don't listen to anybody that tells you that that's going to go away or that it can go away. It can stay right here for as long as you want it to be. I was like, life isn't going to be all peaches and cream from here on out, but man, don't let anybody say that this is going to end. It's like your happiness that you're feeling right now, it's all up to you. You know, it's your choice. So.
Yep. As we've been saying, that's if you get that mindset and stay in it, you can be here. You know, you can cultivate that indefinitely. Yeah.
Sir.
Cool, Marshall. Well, any other closing thoughts on the weekend or anything at all? Anything you do like to see different? Anything that particularly stood out or anything at all?
No, I don't think so. I don't want to. I can't bundle anything up to anything concise.
Yeah. It's hard to do it, and then that's another thing here. A couple of weeks after it's over, it's such a flash in the pan of everything that happens on that weekend, and that like you look back on it, and it's a little elusive in the mind, like to reach back and grab a hold of what happened. You know,
yes. Right now, all I can think about is floating on a raft in the lake, you know, and about that, and just some jokes that were said, and this and that. And then when I dig in, I can remember the specifics. But yeah.
Yep. Cool, man. Go ahead.
The changes were made, and I feel better for it. You know, that's it. I'm glad I went. Right. I'm always am.
Right. Cool. Well, appreciate the gifts that you had for everybody there. That's always that's a huge addition and add to the event that I appreciate greatly, and just your presence and your participation, being there with us, because it took us all, right? It took all of us to make that wonderful weekend happen.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Yep. Thanks, Marshall. Love you.
Thanks, Dan. Love you, brother. See ya.
I'm reminiscing, dreaming no dreams, wishing no wishes like you would be back again.
All right, I'm here with Travis now. I believe this is the second year Travis has come to the retreat, and always from the beginning has always been a huge asset to our group here. So what'd you think about the event there, Travis?
Honestly, Dan, I had a lot of reservations about if it was going to be able to be comparable to last year, man. I didn't think there was any way possible that it could be better than last year, because last year was amazing. And I guess I had my expectations lowered, for the retreat this year. And I was completely wrong. Let me go ahead and say that right now. I was blown away, man. And I don't know why I had low. I guess because it was just such an amazing experience the first time I went. I didn't think there's any way it could be any better, and it was. Pretty much is it.
Yeah, that seems to be a ongoing thing in recovery. Heard somebody say something not too long ago about like how they said, don't ask yourself how can it get any better than this. Ask yourself, how can this get any better? And so to keep it open, he said the same thing, but in a different tone of voice. That every time I think I'm maybe at the end of the juice train or something else happens that proves me to be wrong, and I love being wrong in that manner, because I had the same kind of feelings as how could it be any better than last year? And actually, with it being kind of on my shoulders, I have some fear involved there of like trying to make sure that to try to do something to make that happen. But I know that it isn't so much me making anything happen. It's creating that fertile soil where the higher power can come in and make things happen.
Yeah, man. For me, we talk about this next level recovery stuff all the time, and I gotta have shit like this, man. I gotta have this for me to stay sober. My drinking was abnormal. My drug use was abnormal. So why is my recovery going to be normal? You know what I mean? Like I can't come in here and just have a run of the mill. I mean, what we got is extraordinary, dude. I mean, it's not common to have the group of men that we have that are reaching every day to be better men and to get more out of this life, man. Of this, I didn't come in here for this mediocre bullshit. Sit around and fucking what am I gonna do now? And I'm sober, and I mean, if that's how it was, I wouldn't fucking be here, man. You know?
Man. Yeah, no doubt. It is definitely something special. Anything in particular impact you over the weekend specifically, or
gosh, there was so many fucking things, man. I mean, there's so many. You know what was super cool? I thought was that the last year I was the guy with the least amount of sobriety there, and I had 10 months. I was 10 months sober last year at that time, and this year we had like 8 new guys. You know, out of the 16 or so that were there, and I mean it. You could see the fear in their fucking eyes, bro. I mean, you could see they were fucking scared. I know Toby said he was thinking about running for the car when he got there, and right off the bat, we're sitting down and staring at each other's eyes, that exercise of staring into another man's soul it's indescribable, man. Last year me and Shane did it, and we just did it one-on-one last year, and this year we switched around and did it with 3 or 4 different guys, which was super cool because last year I could feel and almost hear what Shane was trying to tell me, as I was the new guy, and I felt him saying to me, it's going to be okay. Just keep doing what you're doing. I believe in you, all the positive energy that poured out of him into me when we did that exercise last year. I got to turn around and pour that back into some new guys this year, that I just wanted to see them win, man. I wanted them to know that this thing is endless. It's limitless, man. There's no boundaries on this thing we're doing here, man. And it's not just about being sober anymore. It's about having this fucking amazing life that we never dreamed that we could actually get to have,
Yeah, man. Exactly. There were 18 of us, and 8 of us were first timers. Makes a pretty good balance, and I talked to Marshall a little bit earlier, and that impact of what happens to those guys that are doing it for the first time was what he mentioned as far as being there was no particular moment that struck him, but that fact that when he remembers being new there and being, scared, and then coming through the other side, and now actually getting to help other people to have that same feeling of that newness and scared about what we're going to do, and that all that apprehension that's all bound up in somebody when they first show up, and then to watch that release off of them, to watch it just evaporate and just become one with the rest of us.
Yeah, man. It's such a big deal for me. I'm an alcoholic, dope shooting junkie that never imagined that I would get to do the things that I'm doing today. And I'm the kind of guy that, and I know most alcoholics are, that we need to see some fucking proof.
Yep.
I need to see some fucking proof. You could tell me all day long about how great this is and what you're doing, and you got next level recovery and all this. But that fucking retreat, man, shows those guys that this shit is real. This shit we're doing is real. This ain't something we just talk about. We don't just talk the talk. We walk the walk, and we live these principles, man. And we magically, our lives just become manageable and balanced and delicious. We just have these magical fucking lives, man, that we get to share with these newer guys. And that's what it's about for me today, man, is getting to pass it on, dude. I mean, it's just such a gift, dude.
Yep, it sure is, man. Watching the lights come on in other people, it's the heart of my existence.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. Well, I'm super glad to have you there. It's just it's interesting, the group that God gathers up, and every person had a purpose there. And when we come together like that, the power that results from it is beyond words. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's an honor, man. It's an honor to get to walk this walk with you and the rest of you guys. And I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing and keep getting what I'm getting, brother.
Yeah, amen.
I'm reminiscing, dreaming no dreams, wishing no wishes, like you would be back again.
All right, guys. Now I'm here with Shane. He's been well, it feels like at every single one of them. I know he says he missed a couple, but there's been enough now that I sure can't remember him ever missing. And it's always an integral part in helping me make this thing be powerful. Guys like Shane are the ones that I don't think it can't happen without. There's some people, I love the newcomers that come, but Shane plays a part in it that I really need there, and brings some strength and some wisdom and sobriety and spirituality, and brings a lot of things to the table that I really, really appreciate. So what did you think about this year's, man?
Man, it was amazing. Again, thank you for the invite. I'm always blessed to be there. That I missed the first 3 because I was not sober yet.
Oh, yeah.
But I've been to every one since my very first one, and I wouldn't miss it for anything. When as soon as you tell me the dates, I always tell my wife, "This is it. These are the dates I'm going to be gone." So I don't want to miss this thing. So yeah, this year was probably the most powerful one so far. It seems like we say that every year, but I don't see how it can get much more powerful, but it always does. We always change things up a little bit, add a little extra here or there, and then newcomers coming in. There was like, gosh, I want to say like 9 new guys here this year that were like newbie guys, and man, just to see their growth over one weekend, man, it was freaking amazing. Yeah, thank you for letting me be part of it too, man. Because I remember in the beginning you were kind of one man showing it and doing everything, and I'd ask what I could do to help. And you said, I got this. And then the growth in you is that I've seen throughout the years is you're allowing people to help. I know you love to do it and that you take on a lot, but you're actually allowing people to help too, which is awesome, man. So I love seeing that growth in you too. So trying to put everything on your plate at once.
Yeah. Well, the truth of the matter is I didn't know how to let people help. And it took me growing through doing it too, where I was able to actually do that and let people help. Heck, I grow as much as anybody, especially guys that are just first come, they kind of think I'm doing something special in there. And I know it is something special, but fuck, I'm winging it too, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Learn from each one and build on that. And then I think this year, if I've learned anything, one big overarching lesson this year, which is all years, but it just hit me real big, was to make sure you leave enough room for higher power to come in and do what it does. Don't try to clog it up. Yeah. And don't try to clog it up with all these man-made things.
Yeah, it's so funny you said that because, man, did I feel him come in that weekend, man. I kind of had a feeling of what I was going to talk about for the meditation, and it totally got flipped on me as soon as I walked in the door to the cabin, and right. I saw the buffalo skin up there, and this is a total God shot for me. I got to share this story. So I see that buffalo skin there, and I was like, oh man, that's going to the horn, and my phone dinged, and we don't have any reception there at that house. At the cabin, there's no cell service. So I'm like, what the hell? And I looked at my phone. It was a text from my wife, and it was this thing that somebody had sent her, and she thought I could use it at the retreat, which was freaking amazing. So I don't have it here in front of me. I'm probably going to butcher it, but the moral of the story is all animals, when there's a storm coming, run from the storm, except the buffalo. The buffalo goes towards the storm because they know if they go towards it, the cricket will get through it. And man, that hit me like a ton of bricks when all that happened all at once. It was just like, oh, like goosebumps all over me. I think I came to you, told you, dude, look what just happened. And and we were down there, weeks prior to that during turkey season, and I had quite a few ideas that just came to me at like 3 a.m. there, and I thought that's the stuff I was going to use, but it totally flipped as soon as I walked in that door. Higher power gave me something else to do, and I was like, "Oh yeah, man, this is awesome."
Yeah, that's crazy stuff, man. And it's surreal. It's surreal. Mm-hmm. That's where you that's exactly what I mean about letting that, and that became like a little theme through the weekend. And let us still carry, it became a mantra, like for some of the guys. I still see them talking about, that's the way they're living now. Head first into the storm and get through it.
The Buffalo Soldiers, yep.
Yep.
Start calling them. for the Buffalo
Yeah.
Soldiers, man. Just getting through this one day at a time, man.
Yeah.
Freaking awesome.
That's definitely why I need these little sound bites and talking to you guys too, because so much happens that, like, if I didn't like sit down and take notes about what happened over the whole weekend, I don't remember it all. It's too much to remember it, and then, to go back and try to remember everything that happened.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man.
There was so much that happened. Yeah, thank you for allowing me to get on here and toot my horn for a second. Throw a shout out to you all, and thank you for letting me be part of this, man. I love you, brother.
I love you, man. I'm hope I'll have you by my side doing that for as long as we're able.
Hell yeah, we'll be there for sure, man.
I'm reminiscing, dreaming no dreams, wishing no wishes, like you would be back again.
All right, here we are again. I'm sitting with Ross. We're actually in his apartment. We're get a little after action report on his testimony, his thoughts on the event. Ross is, I said in this a few times, I've lost track of how many times certain people have been there, and it doesn't really matter, but I know Ross has been to a few of them and knows the drill. And it's always one of them important veterans that helps balance that thing where we have this half newcomers, half guys that have been around the block a couple times, and just helps make that perfect balance. So what'd you think, man?
Hey, I'm Ross. I thought, man, each time leading up to them, like the 3 or the 4 or the 5 months before, it's like, just can't wait. And then each time you're like, oh my God. And I'm just like, each time it just keeps getting better. And the thrill of it, I remember like first time that I went, that how I felt so connected to everyone after I left, and how nervous I was to show up, and like not even almost showing up, changing my mind 6 times. I was supposed to ride with people to get there, and we were going to go carpool. And I was like, no, I'll just drive. And then driving down there, I'm not thinking I'm going to make it. And then I just, my head talking me out of it. And then I get there and I'm just like, oh my God, man, it's just a life-changing experience. I was just talking to you about this a minute ago, just thinking about it, exactly how everything was. Just, I can now see myself driving down the hill to get there, and I know something happens every single time. Even driving down the hill, I'm getting God shots right now just thinking about it. Just driving down the hill, knowing that you're just gonna, it's gonna be just okay, and you're just the friendships and the brotherhood and the love for another soul just goes to another level.
I have pictures of that view down the driveway. There's something about that for even me, and as hundreds of times I've been there, that image of that almost tunnel-like driveway leading me to someplace I really want to be.
It's I was gonna say, every single time I go there, like I have any fear I ever have, no matter what, any fear I have, it feels like so. I was thinking of skydiving, right? That's one of my biggest fears, right? The second that I show up at Fargo, I'm like, I'll fucking skydive tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then they see, and you're leaving Fargo, and I'm like, fuck a fear. I'm not worried about skydiving, so anything that it's ever like worrying or any type of fear that I've ever had that something couldn't be accomplished, couldn't be done, I don't even have to work through even prayer or tools. It's just like everyone there together is just like, we're like the buffaloes, hopefully you'll talk about that.
Yeah.
So it's just like, every single thing that you've ever thought that was not possible, and in my head, because my head can go a couple different ways sometimes, and everything you thought was not possible, it's just the camaraderie and the brotherhood and everyone pushing each other. It's just to have like that dream that you ever wanted in your whole life, and it's obtainable.
Yeah. You had 2 sponsees there this year.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
That changed the picture a little bit. I saw, that from those new guys that are there, you just see that awakening happen of something that they had not. It's like tasting a strawberry for the first time or something. It's like, wow, I wish I'd have tasted this earlier.
Right. It's a dream to have that. And I was watching a movie last night thinking a little bit about it, because In this movie, they're trying to save the human race, and they're going to find another planet. Well, it's going to take 86 years to find that planet, and so they're going to reproduce on this ship. And 3 generations down, they're going to land on the planet. The ship's going to stop in 86 years, and so their grandkids, like the ones that board the plane, their grandkids are the ones that are going to. So it kind of makes me think about Fargo, you know, like and the podcast, you know, like we're setting up something for the future. So it's beautiful, man. Like
yeah, like I've heard Jordan Peterson say some stuff lately about doing things for your future self. It may not be actually me, but it's some reflection of me down the pipe. Anything in particular, how it impacts you that weekend that you can recall? I know it has been like a month now.
Talking about it feels like we're sitting there on the campfires. This buffalo, like one of my favorite parts this year was seeing the new people just like with their lights turning on and just feeling the love. And I remember how that was, and it's something that you never forget. Like you will never forget Fargo, never forget time with you and how you put everything on for everyone, and you involve like all these different types of projects and all these different types of principles that we use from everywhere. You know, like Mankind, AA, TSSR, every single thing you can possibly do.
Yoga,
Jordan, yoga, all of your people you're constantly. All your teachers, you know,
drawing from.
Yeah, and you're bringing it all into us, you know, and it's not an overwhelming feeling of it's an overwhelming feeling of just like amazement and love. But my favorite part for myself was, other than watching people's lights turn on, and some very special moments there at the end with one of your sponsees, was amazing. Wow.
I was a little bit funny about talking about that, and I don't know why, because it does seem so personal for that guy, but I don't even remember who it was talked about. You know, when I got their soundbite, that was they talked about that. It might have been Shane, but yeah, with the thing with Ryan and that letter, that's definitely something that that I'll never forget.
A lot of us think that it's not possible to be happy when we're not using extracurricular activities. And it's just another stamp in my heart that dude, you can be as happy, and there's as much as you can get out of it. I think you say something like that. You know, if you want it all, it's all here for you. And you do that for us. My favorite part was my favorite sentence was a buffalo.
Shane told that little thing too, because that's his thing about getting there, and got a text while he was at the cabin, which we don't do normally. I've had a couple of texts come in while I'm actually at the cabin, but it's a rare thing. And it was that buffalo story about facing into the wind or into the storm. And then he saw that buffalo cape I had on the kitchen table at the same time, and and then Robert really grabbed the buffalo, the buffalo philosophy. Really hit him, and so every year there's some kind of overarching theme that will just happen. It's nothing that's planned, I kind of throw some stuff out there and put some fertilizer out for something, but I have no idea what made me take that buffalo cape. I just gotten it not too long ago. No idea, but something nudged me to take it, and doubt myself too at the same time that that it's dumb to bring some trinket like that, or what led me to make that horn. I have no idea. But every time leading up to the retreat, I like my little theory of God sticking Post-it notes around, and I can either walk by and ignore them, or I can pick them up and read them. And definitely the buffalo cape in the horn, which was a bull's horn that I cut and hollowed out and painted up and decorated, and I knew you could blow on them and make a noise, but I couldn't do it. I could yell through it and it'd be a little louder, but David was able. He's a former horn player, and he was able to do what you got to do with your mouth and lips to make that thing play and go. And then you could tell if you want, but I had some things I was giving away, and LJ was talking about that in his clip. Had some wooden stuff that I've made and some boxes and had that horn. And we drew names out of a bucket to see, just to keep it fair and even to who, kind of like a raffle. And Ross got the horn. And I wondered, there's always that thing where you wonder if David wouldn't just pull the horn, if he wouldn't have drawn it on his own.
Yeah.
And there was just a little inkling inside of me when you took that horn that was going to become David someday.
Really?
Really.
That's awesome.
But I just kind of shook it. It's just one of the things, it just pops in your brain. I didn't really give it a lot of thought, and then you ended up giving it to him as a gift because of why?
Because we shared a fifth step together, and then I've been contemplating it, and I just knew it was I felt it, but I was like, well, let's just do it right at the fifth step, And at the end, I was like, we were in tears, and it was meant for him, and I really like it. Like I put it up on the wall. I love it, And I was like, and people would come over to the apartment, like they're like, wow, So it was amazing. And
Darren taught me that, that philosophy, or let me know that, planted the seed in my head that the things that I give away that I don't like really aren't gifts. It's the things that I give away that I like.
Yeah. It's
where it becomes a real true gift.
And that's funny. Like I didn't know how to blow it. Like blowing that sounded like a fan for me. He could like march a tune with it.
Yeah, I think if you give him a little time, he practicing on it, he'd be able to blow it like a bugle or something, or he'd be able to make actual real notes and sounds out of it.
I love when Robert said one of my phrases that we talked about on the phone is like he's like, here, I'm a buffalo, bitch. Yeah. I got this. Here I am, before he goes to do something that he's overcoming his fear. But that sent that buffalo, when we all started talking about the buffalo, was, before recovery, I used to run around the storms and run and manipulate or just hide and not face anything.
Crawl under a rock and hope it passes over.
Right. And today with the love from you guys and we go right through the storm, and we don't run from anything today. And it was just like, that was so like such a euphemism, I don't know, of what it is, and what we're doing there, and that's what we do today. We run right into the storm and we let go, and it's just okay.
Yeah, and those things happening like that in just that organic way is those are just too cool, and we get to experience them on a regular basis, man. The juice comes pouring into your life, and from what seemed to be a real innocuous, some kind of just no big deal thing, turns into like a life philosophy.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, got anything else about it before we close up?
I just wanted to talk about your podcast, but just add one more sentence on what I was talking about earlier, just about it. This is way bigger than us, and you've set up the future with your trip, with your podcast, and with Fargo. For someone to hear this 50 years from now that never thought about starting the trip or didn't know how, and now is going to say like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and start a retreat. Yeah. And then you're going to pass this on, like, this is way more bigger than us. And I just wanted to tell you thank you, man.
Thank
I love
you. Thank you, man. That means a lot to me. That thought has crossed my mind a couple times here lately, and I talked about it with LJ. And there's a little cartoon where a guy has a T-shirt on that says happiness, and there's another guy, and he says, "Hey, man, where did you get that?" And the guy said, "Hey, I made it myself." And nice. If this is something that if these things resonate with you, you can start your own a retreat. You don't have to have a place in the woods like I happen to have. You can rent out a area at a state park, or you could city park, or maybe somebody that has a little chunk of ground that you all could meet on. and just put it together and make room. Make sure you leave plenty of room for higher power to do its job. Don't clog it up too bad with all our designs and plans. And you can have this thing too. It doesn't, just because maybe you don't know me or you're not in a position to come to my retreat, doesn't mean you can't have this same juice. There's enough for everyone. This is not a zero-sum game.
I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks, Ross. I love you. Thanks for your contribution to this podcast. And I will see you soon.
Heck yeah.
Glad we got to do it face to face.
Thanks, man.
No one wants that. My game's loud. You need to talk to people. Alright.
I'm recording you.
Tell me to shut up.
I'm taping.
Alright.
Now, as people get here, I'll sit with them, but no, I'll to record a little, I'll take them away from here.
Bring it to the front porch. Yeah, I love it. I really do. No, Jane ain't got the song we sang in the car. Drop it down,
be quiet.
top
Sit
it
here and
down,
do it.
making a rap.
Of course, the guitar will be in the background.
I don't want to make everybody be quiet for that.
Life throws you curve, and Shane learned to swerve. Me, I swung and I missed, and the next thing you know, I'm reminiscing, dreaming no dreams, wishing no wishes, like you would be back again. I wake up, it's a teardrop, they fall down like rain. I put on that old song we danced to, and then I head on my job. It's not much has changed. Punch the clock, head for home, check the phone, just in case. Go to bed, dream of you, and that's what I'm doing these days. Someone told me after college you ran on to Vegas. Married a rodeo cowboy wife. That ain't the girl I knew. Me, I've been a few places, mostly here and there once or twice. Still sorting out life, but I'm doing alright. Yeah, it's good to see you too. Well, hey, lodge you late, and them planes, they don't wait. But if you ever come back around this sleepy old town, promise me you'll stop in, see an old friend. And until then, I wake up, it's a teardrop, they fall down like rain. I put on that old song we danced to, and then I head on to my job. It's not much has changed. Punch the clock, head for home, check the phone, just in case. Go to bed, dream of you, and that's what I'm doing these days. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. He's doing. That's what I'm doing. What I'm doing. He's doing. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing these days.
Woo! Woo! Yeah. Well, there you have it. That happened just to be 11 guys plus me. We always seem to run into that number 12 a lot around here. It's cool to listen back to their audios, over the last, from Sunday of the retreat to now. As a matter of fact, as I'm speaking to you right now, the last audio clip I gathered was yesterday. So it's been over the course of a month that I have been gathering these things up, and memories fade quickly, and listen to those stories of people sharing their reminiscing touches me again. That little song at the end there was Travis around the campfire. I caught him on 2 songs, singing and playing, and you can hear the fire cracking in the background, and I'm glad I grabbed both of those. A little bit of concern that there may be some royalty issues there with playing that music, but I'm going to take my chances. tend to feel this safe and protected around here, like it says in that big book. So I'm going to keep them in there. Listen to that, and I heard him say that, reminiscing, and that little clip I used in between every person's audio file hit me real quick, and I kind of giggled because it just seemed to be perfect to me. And I never know how I'm going to sit down and put these together. As a matter of fact, most of these podcasts, I don't have any idea how they're going to work out. Ask my higher power to give me some guidance, and I hit the damn button and let her go. And this one, I hope you enjoyed it, because I sure enjoyed making it and listening to it. And I like to have these things, like Ross said, this stuff for the future. Someday I'll be able to, if this stuff is of no value to anybody else, someday I'll be able to go listen to my past self and remember what I was doing in 2021. Thank you all. As always, if you're not having a blast in your recovery, it's your own damn fault. And thank you. And thank the 11 men that added to this podcast. Thank you. Thank them. And they thank you for allowing us all to participate in our recoveries in this manner today. Peace out.